Good evening, folks. So here we are. Now, let's talk about where we are with the team, okay? Now, I want to address a couple of things tonight. First of all, I want to make it really clear that I'm not defending Stephanie White or making excuses for Stephanie White, okay? I have said from the very beginning that I don't like Stephanie White's coaching style. I made it really clear from a very early on video, and this will be number 51, I think, very early on, that I believe what the Indiana Fever should have done, and I'm not running the team, so my opinion doesn't really matter to the Indiana Fever. But I made it very clear that I thought that Christy Sides should have been returned to the Fever for her last season. She should not have been fired. Yes, there were players that they should have eliminated, and they could have upgraded in spaces. And they could have made those upgrades and built on the team and the momentum that they had leaving 2024. I made that real clear. I made it real clear that I don't believe Christy Sides was given a fair shake. I also am making it really clear here right now to everybody that I don't think expecting the Indiana Fever to go into the playoffs for a championship while you are literally rebuilding your entire team. Bringing in 5 new players is significant. Okay, that's a significant change, along with a coach, a new coach. Okay, I don't think that translates into championship in the first year. So I questioned that whole thing, bringing in all those new people. That being said, the one person that they brought in that I believe needs to come back next year on a multi-year contract is Sophie Cunningham. I think Sophie Cunningham has been a great addition to the Indiana Fever. Not only is she Caitlin Clark's enforcer, but she's also a legit great basketball player. Okay? Great shooter, great basketball player, great off the bench, and legitimately a starter elsewhere. So yes, the fact that she wanted to come to the Fever and was willing to come off the bench is a big thing. That's a great player. That's a player we keep, okay? So that's my opening salvo. However, all I did was say that I don't envy Stephanie White's job trying to keep this team in the playoff hunt with the players that she has lost to injury. Somebody said in one of the comments, we couldn't even beat the Lynx with their best player out. That's embarrassing. Well, you know what? I don't look at it that way. We don't have our best player playing. They don't have Nafisa Collier. We don't have Caitlin Clark. We also don't have Caitlin Clark's backup, Sydney Colson, a veteran, an experienced veteran, a championship veteran. We don't have Ari McDonald. We don't have Sophie Cunningham. And now we may not have Sims. We may not have her. Odyssey Sims may be out. We don't know the status of her injury from the other night. I've looked everywhere before I came on. I don't think that she was supposed to be evaluated today. I haven't seen anything on that. Now we also find out that Chloe Bibby tweaked her knee during warm-up, and they kept her out of being cautious. We don't know if she's available tomorrow night. So I'm sorry, folks, but I know bashing Stephanie White is a thing here, and that's great. You don't like her. I'm not fond of her either. And yes, I'm aware of her history at Vanderbilt. I'm also aware that she took the Connecticut Suns to the semifinals as the coach. And I'm also aware that she coached the Indiana Fever in 2016. I know all about Stephanie White. And I think the one thing that whoever the coach is next year, whether it's Stephanie White or not, I think the one thing the coach has to do is set a starting five and set a replacement rotation so that the players can understand what their job is. And then you backfill from there. Consistency is everything in basketball. And there's no way for a team to be consistent when rotations aren't consistent. So I agree with all of that. I'm not arguing that point. I am merely stating a fact when I say that I'm sorry, but Stephanie White, I would not want that job. There is no way she can win. She'll never be right in people's eyes, and there's no way she's in a totally no-win situation. She is suiting up 9 players. Now we have a new player, by the way, just so everybody understands. Some people say that this sign was to replace Chloe Bibby, but this woman's a guard. The Indiana Fever signed Ariel Powers to a 7-day contract today. Don't expect her to blow the doors off the arena tomorrow night. She's just got here today. She's a 9-year veteran, started her career in 2016 as a number 5 selection in the draft with the Dallas Wings. She did make the all-rookie team. In 2019, she was part of the Washington Mystics that won the WNBA championship, averaging 7.6 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 1.0 assists in the playoffs. She also spent 3 seasons with the Minnesota Lynx from 2021 to 23, and one with the Atlanta Dream in 2024. Her career stats are 10.4 points, 3.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists. Her most recent stint was with the Golden State Valkyries. She's going to be wearing number 23. There she is right there. Ariel Powers joins the team on a 7-day contract. So all I said, and rightfully so, is that I don't know how any coach could manage. I think the fact that they're still in the hunt is amazing. I'm sorry. I am sorry if that offends the Stephanie White haters out there. I'm just being honest with you. She's managed to keep her team together. They respect each other. They love each other. I know for a fact that Caitlin Clark loves them, and they love Caitlin Clark. All of this talk about the clubhouse being toxic is just that. It's the talking heads who just can't stir the shit pot enough. There is absolutely no evidence of any of that. In fact, the evidence points in a very vastly different direction. So let me clear that air, okay? Now, I'm also going to tell you this. Some people don't like the fact that I talk about other content creators out there. Well, that's too bad, okay? I don't go out there looking for stuff. But when I see stuff that's just flat out lying, I'm going to call it out. Because you know what? Misinformation is never okay. Misinformation is not okay. It's insulting. It's insulting to the people they're spreading the misinformation about. It's insulting to the sport. And it's done for a reason that is less than honorable. Jason Whitlock is a prime example. People say to me, oh, well, he always says great things about Caitlin Clark. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he compliments her. She's a great player who's faking her injuries because she wants to hide the fact that her 3-point shooting average is down and she's got a lot of turnovers. That's what we call a backhanded slap in the face. That's a backhanded compliment. He's a snake in the grass. Okay? That's bull. Caitlin Clark isn't faking her injuries and Skip Bayless saying she's faking her injuries because she needs to get a break from the targeting. Like she's some kind of little snowflake. The one place where Caitlin Clark really wants to be right now is on the court with her teammates. That's where she wants to be. So all of that stuff is just flat out bullshit. And I don't like bullshit. And so, no, I won't let that stuff pass. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It's not like I spend all day on it. But if it's there in my feed, I see it. I don't even go looking for it. Jason Whitlock pulled a stunt this morning that was enough to make the hair on the back of my neck stand up, but I'm not even going to mention it. However, I am going to mention one thing here. The commentary in the threads, in the comment threads, that they took out Lexi Hull last night because and replaced her in a DEI move. I'll tell you what, boys. I'm not going to mention your names, but I'd like to remind you about the fact that women are included in the DEI category. Diversity, equity, inclusion includes women. This is a women's league. So stop being insulting, because that's what you are. And if you don't want to trigger me, don't use that term. The coach has the prerogative to take somebody out, to give them a break. Lexi Hull played a lot of minutes last night. And she had a great game by anyone's standards. And she didn't have a problem with being taken out. So if you don't want to trigger me and you don't want me to stay on these topics, stop trying to egg me on, because I know that's what you're doing. It's pretty obvious. So let's move on from that topic. Now, here's a question. I want you all to think about this. And I want you all to comment on this, because I look at these comments all day. I don't just go there in the morning. I come back and look at night. If I can get the chance at work to look at them, I do that too. Although I don't answer them at work, because I don't like working from my phone. Here's the question. Let's look ahead to next season. Who do you want to see back on the Indiana Fever? I'll start it out. Aaliyah Boston is a badass. She needs to be back. Kelsey Mitchell needs to be back. The starting guards need to be Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark. Playmaker, sharpshooter. Okay? They played well together last year. Lexi Hull. Sophie Cunningham. Michaela Timpson. Because she's a babe in the woods. And I believe she would make a great power forward. She's listed as a center/power forward. She's young. She hasn't had a lot of chance to mature this year because of the injury stuff. She hasn't been used consistently. And it's not like she was a number one pick, okay? She was supposed to go in the first round. She fell into the second round somehow. And I know the Fever considered themselves lucky to have gotten her. And I agree with that. Okay? I do. Here's the question. Okay, DeWanna Bonner's already taken herself off the list, so I don't even have to worry about taking that trash out. What do we do with Natasha Howard? Does she come back next year? What about Duntus? What about Turner? I personally think we need a scoring forward. Like I was saying just before the trade deadline, someone up front, like Satu Sabali. Maybe not her, but a forward who can score, a power forward. Natasha Howard is a small forward. And we need a starting five rotation. So we need Boston. We need Kelsey. We need Caitlin. They're definite, absolute definite. But beyond that, where do we go? Do we bring back Chloe Bibby? Do we bring back Ari McDonald? What about Sydney Colson? There's a lot of question about Sydney Colson being able to come back from an ACL tear at the age of 34. I think she's 34 years old. She's a veteran. She's been around. She's won some championships. She's an excellent player. She was Caitlin Clark's backup this year. So, let's play fantasy basketball. Keeping in mind that there are only so many things you can do to get good players without giving up good players. And we do not want to give up Aaliyah Boston or Caitlin Clark, okay, or Kelsey Mitchell. I don't know who's a free agent next year. I don't know, but I do know that we need Aaliyah Boston back, whatever that takes. She's the real deal, okay? She's had a lot of really good games this year. She's had a lot of double-doubles. She's had some rough times too. But I really think that Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston they have the potential to be the most dominant pick and roll combination in the WNBA. We need them out there together. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. I still think we need a forward, and we need someone who can come in when Aaliyah Boston comes out for a rest, who can dominate the paint. Guards can't take over for power forwards and centers, as someone suggested. We don't need anybody new. We have Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, and those are guards. They don't play power forward or center. They don't have the body for that. So we do need someone. I believe eventually that will be Michaela Timpson. But I'm not sure that that's next year. She would have to get more minutes. And right now, that's hard to come by. So let me know what you think. I'm interested in your input, and I will look for the answers. So that's what I've got for tonight. Tomorrow, the game starts at 2 p.m. So I will be watching that. I will be taking notes and seeing how that goes. By the way, there was a rumor out there. I want to dispel this rumor. There was a rumor that Sophie Cunningham said that Caitlin Clark is ready to play. That's not true. Sophie Cunningham never said that. Those words never came out of her mouth. She did not say that. Caitlin Clark made the trip to Minnesota with the team. She is making progress. She is rehabbing. She has not been cleared for full contact practice. She does do some things on the floor during practice with the team, but not full practice. Not yet. However, I want to reiterate one thing. Nobody said she was going to be in full practice this week. I believe the date that Stephanie White gave was sometime during the week of the 26th, which is not right now. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see where that goes. As I said, the season does not end until the 9th of September. There is time, no matter what anyone else says. And let's hope for the best. So that's where we are. Let me hear what you have to say. And I will be back tomorrow. As I said, I do want to do that video about how Caitlin Clark is her appearance on the scene is making little girls want to play basketball so much that there are so many more leagues now available to girls that it's a great thing. And mostly in Indiana, but in other places as well. So we'll be talking about that and showing some video about that. So I hope to get 2 videos in tomorrow. One on that and then one after the game. So I'll talk to you guys then. You have a great night. Stay healthy.